Decoding Anxiety: How Stoic Philosophy Can Change Your Life. Hello. Have you ever felt so anxious that you couldn't control it? Anxiety is an emotion that we all experience, but not everyone knows how to deal with it. In today's stressful world, finding effective ways to manage anxiety is more important than ever. This is where Stoic philosophy can play a vital role in helping you live a calmer, more self-controlled life. Stoic philosophy is more than just theory. It is a practical tool that you can apply in your daily life to overcome anxiety, reduce stress, and achieve peace. But are you ready to discover the true power of Stoicism? Don't just read or listen. Join us now. Please, like to support this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss out on other valuable lessons. We want to know, what worries you the most in your daily life? Share your story in the comments below and join us in discovering how Stoic philosophy can help you overcome it. Don't let anxiety control you. Take control of it today. Stoic philosophy is about bringing our perceptions and beliefs into alignment with reality. Anxiety is a neurophysiological condition in which benign background stressors cause the body to overreact to extreme threats. According to the strict Stoic view, the solution to anxiety is to teach yourself not to feel threatened by the pressures and uncertainties of life. It's easy to say, but very difficult to actually achieve. When the body and much of the brain are caught up in flight, fight, freeze chemicals and habitual behaviors, having the tiny prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain where conscious choice and reasoning takes place, yelling "calm down and take control" at the entire system is just adding noise to a noisy situation. For Stoic practice to be effective and useful in reducing anxiety, it must be practiced before the anxiety starts to ramp up. Some people need medical or psychological intervention before they can even begin to regulate their perceptions and judgments. Essentially, Stoic and skeptical philosophy addresses the issue of reducing fear by unpacking and denying many of our pre-programmed instincts. Typically, the first step is to consider the rationality of the fear of death. The Stoics have a clear rational denial of the fear of death. When death is no longer a concern, they build arguments for not worrying about social, health, or financial hardship, because worry itself is not only useless, but actively damaging to our ability to navigate those situations skillfully, with virtue, in a good, excellent, etc. way. Philosophy, and there are other philosophies besides Stoic philosophy, is probably not the best place to start if you suffer from debilitating anxiety. It is the last place you will have to go to live with calm and grace. Sit down, breathe, and use your mind. What are you worrying about? Does worrying about it help? Why should you worry about it? Also, try writing. Write about the things you worry about, the outcome of them, and why you worry about them. How you feel. Try to be more rational and not let your anxiety control you. Realize that what you can control is the here and now, not the past, certainly not the future. Focus on the here and now and do the best you can. For me, what helps is understanding that my anxiety is related to something in the past, which I cannot change and is out of my control, or something in the future that has not yet happened, which I can prepare for but should not suffer from too soon. From this perspective, our importance in terms of time and space is very small. It really doesn't matter, so why stress? Live by the mantra that the meaning of life is to enjoy the passing of time, enjoy the present. Anxiety is energy. Use it to move forward. Your mind shapes it in a negative way by directing thoughts forward and worrying, whereas anxiety is simply your body demanding action. Move your body when anxiety arises until your mind returns to a relaxed state. The Stoics look at things from the perspective of, what do I control? This is the exact opposite of anxiety, which is, what's going to happen next. We control a small percentage of what actually happens in our lives, i.e., the weather, the economic markets, the impact of laws, and so on. If I don't control the 35% that I actually have an impact on, things will really go wrong. I struggle every day to have financial security, a place to live, a network of valuable friends, a plan, a budget, a great boring life. I literally let everything blow up around me, and if I control my 35%, then no matter what happens, I'm fine. Decide what you want to invest in, who you trust, or worry about something you can't control. And Seneca once said, "A mind that worries about future events is a miserable mind." We suffer more in our imagination than in reality. You're getting a lot of bad advice like, do nothing, change nothing, and try to understand the set of variables you're worrying about in a completely different way. This is not Stoic advice. This is actually the psychology that creates anxiety. This is a kind of helplessness that says, train yourself to see every problem as insurmountable. This is a misunderstanding of what the Stoics said. In fact, there is only one scenario in which Stoics will change their minds in a completely internal way. That is, in the rare case of determining that something should be avoided, only to find on closer inspection that it is unavoidable. A person who regards death as bad has made this mistake, and it is the most common version of the mistake that Stoics are concerned with. Death is inevitable, so a person who fears it will experience anxiety that never goes away. But people often correctly identify what they should worry about. That is, they make a judgment, this outcome is possible, and it is bad. Successfully avoiding the thing you fear changes that judgment from, this outcome is possible, and it is bad, to this outcome will no longer happen. I have successfully avoided it. When your judgment changes, your emotions change. You no longer worry about what you judge to be impossible. That, actually, successfully avoiding something in the real world is still the most common thing a Stoic does to avoid worry today. You can always spot someone who gets this wrong and is confusing their own depression and anxiety with Stoicism, because they won't even ask what your specific problem is. You don't need to know someone's specific problem if all you do is act helpless about it. I'm not that person, so I'll ask, what exactly are you worried about? There are specifics, even multiple specifics. You worry about specific outcomes happening, and in order to solve your problem, we need to know what those outcomes are. I use the power of accepting death. It really works. I just think about being okay and neutral with my own death, even if it's imminent. And the anxiety is significantly reduced. But I also notice different types of anxiety. I don't know if this is a Stoic approach, but when I started seeing a therapist for social anxiety, we started by figuring out exactly what I was afraid of. And then we made a structured plan of how to break the anxiety by doing exactly the things I was afraid of that we reviewed and updated every 2 weeks. If you don't have the money to hire a therapist, you can do this with a friend or sibling, maybe even alone, but it's always better to have someone to hold you accountable. In some way, through some method, you will need to dig into your core beliefs and evaluate them to find the universal truth. The basis of anxiety, if not a physical illness, will come down to accepting a false impression. Therapy helps, as does journaling. You need to gain a 1.1 understanding of who you are and how you function. I think it is more of a practical question than a philosophical one. Within the framework of Stoicism, you should analyze which factors are within your control and which are beyond your control. If you cannot stop this worrying phase, relax and let your mind move from one thought to another and from stress to sadness. If there is something you can do, do it. The following are all helpful. Discuss your difficulties with friends. Rest, both sleep and leisure time. Consume quality art. Watch movies, listen to music, play video games. Seek wisdom, even if it is not related to your problem. Just being exposed to wisdom can soothe the heart. Devotion. Show submission to God. Nature soothes the spirit. Avoid talking to strangers or friends you are not close to. Socializing is tiring, and if you are stressed or weak, it will make you weaker and you will make mistakes. Avoid the stress loop at all costs. If you are stressed because you are stressed, there is a risk that the original cause of your pain will disappear, but the anxiety will still prevail. If you find yourself stressed because of stress, stop trying. I would love to take a moment to express deep gratitude to all of you for your amazing support and encouragement. Your constant support has made me feel truly grateful and motivated me every day. I cannot express enough how important your support has been to me, and it has helped me overcome many difficulties. I am so appreciative and grateful that you have always been such loyal and amazing viewers. Thank you all for always being there for me and cheering me on endlessly.